Go ahead.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Hey, Jen. Pleasure to be here. Thank you. And how are
Absolutely.
you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. So I've seen you a couple of times on a couple of stages, and something that really struck me when I've heard you speak was really the business behind your brand. And I know you were an official announcer for the UFC. You've got the It's Time just brand. And so could you maybe talk to me and my listeners a little bit about your story? And did you have a brand strategy in the beginning, or did it kind of evolve as you went?
Well, I've been a brander and a marketer most of my life. First and foremost, the UFC is kind of my weekend Boy Scouts go to camp job. And I do a variety of other things. I appear for the Raiders. I open their games. I do all major sports and a lot of different areas. So with that, as with your clients and the people that you're watching this interview, I always tell everybody to build from a base. You got to create a base. And that base should be something based on, if you can find what you're passionate about and you can monetize it, that's the best work life to have. I call it life by design. You wake up every morning and you're not going to work, you're living your life, and I just want everybody to be happy and be passionate about what they do. Unfortunately, that's not true of everyone. But in order to maintain a consistent image and to maintain a memory banks in people's minds that want to buy your products or your services or whatever, it's about branding, and branding starts off very simply in a very simple way where your name should be the same as on your Instagram, your business card, your email, your Facebook. Everything should be the same. So people aren't thinking, oh, it's ABC Inc. Well, no, it's BCI Incorporated. Oh, it's no. One thing. And you start consistently just creating a brand in the most simplest of ways. But by building a base, if your brand stays strong here, then as you expand, and to me, all business is the same. It's just the product that's different, right? So as you expand and start marketing your brand out, and if you keep your branding consistent, then as you're expanding into other areas, creating other revenue streams, then you're creating avenues of your brand that expand. And there's a term in business I use called filling the pipeline. So you create a pipeline and then you fill it. But you want people to remember you, not just by your beautiful smile or your personality or anything like that. That's great. That's all good because first impressions are everything. But the way you talk, the way you be, the way you present yourself, the way you dress, the way everything is, it's a branding. And then you want to be consistent with that. Now, where I cut my teeth on branding, I owned telemarketing companies in my 20s, and I owned import-export companies, security company, putting in alarm systems and camera systems. I owned a variety of different businesses. I did public speaking, the whole bit. But where I really learned branding was when I met my brother, Michael Buffer, at age 29 years old, the man that goes, let's get ready to rumble. He was world famous, and I hadn't even met him. I was watching him on TV. I didn't know he existed. I didn't even know he was my half brother. I searched out and found out because the last name was the same. Long story cut short, he turned out to be my half brother. And I sold two companies that I was making a tremendous amount of money in, living beach house, Life of Riley, 2.5 men lifestyle, minus the alcoholism at the beach and all that. Incredible in my early 30s. And but I was burned out. I didn't like what I was doing. So I gave up everything and rolled the dice and sold my two companies and quit with the money I had in the bank to take over management of him and trademark these 5 words of air. Now, if you want to talk about branding, try making something 5 words of air that is said the same thing, same way every time, as talented as Michael is and as glorious as he says it. But that's a brand that we created into a $500 million brand that has stayed popular and part of American culture for like 30 plus years. And all the teachings and learnings and the trial by error that I went through creating that brand for Michael, again, all business is the same. It's just the product that's different. I applied the same principles to my brand. But when I started in the UFC, I was not phrase driven. To me, it was, I wanted to create my own style. So I didn't look like Frank Sinatra Jr. And everybody thinks, oh, it's, he's trying to be Michael. No, he's riding his coattails. No, I sew his coattails on. I'm his manager. I direct his career. Okay. I do all the business for that. But if I'm going to do this, I told myself, if I can't create my own brand and my own individuality within 2 to 3 years, I'll quit because I don't want to be that guy. Right. I never was phrase driven. I never created the It's Time until about 7, 8 years in. I would start to show off like, it's time to begin the ultimate fighting championship. And then when Dana White bought the show, he said, I don't want you doing that anymore. Oh, great. Okay. So then when the main event happened, I thought, okay, everybody's been here for 6 hours waiting for the main event. Fighters have trained 6 to 8 weeks to be at this main event. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. It's time. Because I wake up every morning and before that I go, after I shave, it's time to have the best day possible. I'm constantly motivating myself. I need to close a deal every day. I need to be motivated every day. I need to sell every day or just have a good day. Right. So it's time. So I put that into effect. And then over the course of years, because if you hear me back when I said it before, it's like, no, that's not the way I want to hear it. Right. But it's grown into the way that I do as I refine my tool and refine my brand to where now it's become worldwide popular. I have products out like my It's Time energy drink, which is being released in 40 countries around the world, and Puncher's Chance bourbon, and all advertised with It's Time and It's Time cologne, toiletry lines, and nutritional. You're going to see 100 products I'm coming out with in the next 2 years alone in 40 different countries, all around It's Time. But when you brand yourself, pardon my long-winded answer, you can stop me anytime. But when you brand yourself, there's a point in the old saying, don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. Okay. I could have come out with all this 3-4 years ago, potentially, and it was not the right time. Now it's time. Okay. So I have to realize when it works, when it does, and it's all evolved and all worked through the consistency of my building that brand. And of course, with the help of being one of the top 3 faces, recognizable faces of the UFC, being the most famous fighting sport in the world, an event internationally, that certainly has helped me a lot too. So it's your individual efforts. It's who you side yourself with, who you do business with, and how much you believe in yourself, and to be a product of the products. Okay. Whether I drink It's Time energy during the day and have a little snip of Puncher's Chance at night, put on my cologne or night before I go out on a date, whatever, product of the products, right? I'll be washing myself in the shower with It's Time body wash, face wash, deodorant, all this is coming out. So I better be a product of the products and believe in my brand. I'm going to have a really hard time existing.
Well, and it goes into aligning and authenticity as well. If we don't believe in the things that we're doing, we're not a student of the work, then what are we doing? So I think
if you don't believe in it, get out of it. If you're like in a relationship that's bad and toxic, get out of it. Sorry. It's just the best advice I can give. I just got out of a relationship that was toxic for me. I didn't want to start the new year off wrong. I wanted to start it off right, with all respect to the girl I was involved with. But it's like business. I also had business deals that weren't good. I cut them off right before the first year because I only want to be with people that I can be successful with. I have a 3-foot theory. Everybody around me be happy, healthy, and prosperous. If they're all happy, healthy, and prosperous around me, it's all going to come back to me. I don't think about the money I'm going to make. I always make money. I don't mean to sound cocky, but I know how to make money. But the more money I make for the people around me, the more health and the more prosperity and happiness they get, it all comes back to me. I find this works for me very well. And I'm very unselfish, and I treat everybody equal, treat everybody with respect. I'm not better than anybody, but just don't try to announce or fight me, because you're going to get a problem.
I really like that. And you said something, and it's something that I actually have as a code in my brain, and something that we work with our clients in. And that's, wealth is balance. It's not just about making money. It really is about, do we have our health? Are we enjoying our life? And you've said it multiple times. So as you went through this journey, and you said now is the time to launch these products, and it needs to be the right time, right? How important has it been for you to readjust and recalibrate your daily activities so that you could have that balance, that health, and that fun, and all of the things that have kept you motivated as you've grown your business? Can you talk to me about that balance and how you've been able to continue to instill it as you've grown?
Well, that's a good question. And the key answer is, and you mentioned it, health. I don't care how much money you make. If you don't have your health, it's not going to be fun. I don't care how great you love your job going to work. If you don't have your health, you're going to have a problem doing it. I'm 64 years old. I've been an athlete my whole life. And I'm sitting here drinking pressed juice and I'm half vegetarian or whatever I choose to do. The bottom line is you're 75% of what you eat and 25% how you train. Now, people say, oh, I don't have time to train. BS. There's always time to train. Training you eat 3 times, 4 or 5 times a day. Training should be part of it, whether you can just get 45 minutes in, an hour in, or you're an animal like me and you go forward, in different ways. It doesn't matter. The fact is you want to stay active. You want to eat properly, stay active, and nourish your body. When you have a car, you don't put lousy oil in the car. You put the best oil you can in the car because you want that car to last a long time. Well, the same stands true of your body. Okay. And applying the principles, okay, you work, you get your job. Do people say, I work hard? No, don't work hard. Work smart. Okay. When I had 100 employees and a key employee, if I gave them an 8-hour job and said, you better do that in 4 hours, you don't have a job, they did it in 4 hours. I'm not that much of a slave driver, but you get my point. But if I gave them a 4-hour job and said, take 8 hours to do it, then what kind of manager does that make me? Right. You want to be able to manage people and the people around you that are with you, treat them as equals. And I have a theory too, when everybody that works for me, teach how to teach how to teach. But you can't teach and you can't manage people unless you teach and manage by example. If you're telling somebody what to do, you better be the best at it. You better be just as good to show them how to do it. Otherwise, how are they going to gain your respect? It's kind of like a movie critic that never made a movie and they tear apart a movie that people just spent 2 years of their lives making. Hey, you know what? Take a walk, guy. All right. I'm sorry. I want to hear it from experience. I want to, that's just me. That'll give me more respect when I hear, and I want people to respect me when I tell them how to do. I'm like Glengarry Glen Ross, Alec Baldwin, ABC. I was an animal, but I always treated people with respect, treated them equal. Pat your employees, pat your partners on the back. That's sometimes worth even more than a $5,000 bonus check.
You're absolutely right. And the people that we surround ourselves by, the team that we have, makes us stronger as entrepreneurs. And also as we want to go out, it impacts everybody that we touch, our clients, our families, our communities. I really respect that about you. So thank you for sharing that. I have to ask, because it's coming. Would you, before me, be so kind as to give me it's time, because I'm a big fan. I've watched you before as you perform. I have a very much respect for your craft and how you've honed it over the years.
How do you,
so I ask?
How do you say your last name correctly, Jen?
Gaudet.
Gaudet. And now this is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for Jen Gaudet.
Thank you so much, Bruce. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you, to meet you, and thank you so much for my own personal It's Time. We have just a moment left. If you were to leave one gem for the entrepreneurs that are listening to us right now, and they may be a little bit on the fence with what is the best way to enter their next endeavor. Maybe they're in fear. How can they move through that fear, motivate themselves, and keep moving forward?
First off, thank you, and you're very welcome. And also too, if anybody would like personalized videos from me or anything, just go to brucebuffer.com. I do motivational stuff there too, and check it out. I'm obviously on Cameo, who isn't these days? But in respect to your question, and answer in respect to your question, when you're choosing a new endeavor to go into, one thing I found, whether it's a competition, physical or mental or business, pick the 3 top leaders, examples of the 3 most successful businesses or individuals that you're looking to get into. And it's not, do you want to copy them, but analyze what makes them successful. What are the similarities between those 3 different pursuits? And then take all that and juxtapose it into what works with you, with your own individual identity, combined with your hopeful passion. And I repeat this, passion for what you're going to do. Because if you're not passionate about it, when you get knocked to the ground, like Rocky says, you got to get up and move forward and punch harder than ever. You're not going to do that unless you're passionate about what you do, right? So, but look at the 3 top people, companies, whatever, analyze it, learn from it. So when you, like I say in my podcast, when you step on that path, you be the best you can be, and then you're winning. Now, if you're number 1, you're really winning. But if you're just the best you can be to go out and do it, then you're winning, because you're being justifiable and righteous to yourself and the people around you. And I can tell so much more, but mentally, if you're not prepared, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Just don't look at the dollar signs. Okay. They will come. If you build it, they will come. Okay. But there's much more of a base you want to create mentally, physically, and financially and business-wise to make that successful.
Thank you so much for your time, Bruce. And of course, everyone can catch you on your It's Time podcast. And if you want to give your details one more time, in case people would like to get their own branding with you.
Sure. If you want to check into it, I mean, branding, obviously you want to go through JT Fox and we can have wonderful conversations like we're having now. If you want a little championship intro or something to motivate you when you go to work or whatever, JT offers those too, or you just go check me out at Cameo or brucebuffer.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise.
You're very welcome, Jen. You take care, and happy new year and much success in 2022, and stay safe.
Likewise.